new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.
Well, nice little cameo from Ashutosh Sharma, who we did see as the impact player, in spite of the Kings not naming him in a starting 11, a batting first starting 11. But in spite of that, all they've managed is 147 innings that just didn't seem like it was going anywhere, but for that little cameo towards the end. So we find out whether that's a difficult surface, exceptional bowling, or just a team that's low on confidence with the bat on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Mitch McClenaghan with Wasim, Jaffer and Tom Moody to answer the key questions. It wasn't a very enjoyable watch, I think it's fair to say. Why did it seem so hard, Wasim, for Punjab?
Well, I think the innings never got going, and I thought a lot of credit needs to go to Rajasthan bowlers as well. I thought they bowled really well. Even though there was not much swing at the start, we expected some swing. Bowled didn't get any swing. But even then, the batting never got going. They kept losing wickets, and credit must be given to Rajasthan bowlers for bowling in that tight channel, especially at the start of the innings.
So is this down to a good bowling effort more?
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because you're looking there, like you said, there wasn't any swing. Yes, the Rajasthan bowlers bowled good lengths. They didn't give too much width, but I think it comes down to having two batters at the top of the order who are desperately out of form. Prab Simran and Johnny Bairstow really scratching around for runs, unfortunately. And when the power play in a lot of these games is so important, it's you can't really get off to the start that they did. I think both of those two batsmen were 9 off 11 and 9 off 12 at the end of the power play, and that's getting your team off to a significantly slow start.
Yeah, when you see a batting innings develop like that, Tom, 6 overs, power play scores 38 for 1. The next 5 have gone at less than a run a ball.
Yeah, it's very unflattering. But then you look down at the Punjab batting order and what their resources are. They're not only out of form, but there's not the quality that we see around a lot of the other teams in this IPL. They're short of real world-class batting in that lineup. Bairstow is in that category, but he's far from it. Since he's had his leg injury, he hasn't been the batter that he was prior to that accident, which was about 18 months ago now, on the golf course where he broke his leg badly. Livingston is world-class, but he's had a very lean 12 months in all cricket, and the rest of the players in that list are finding their way in the top order of any team, let alone an IPL side.
So you have Livingston who comes back and then he bats at 6. You hold him back 6 or 7, I think it was. 7. And you have Jitesh Sharma up and Shashank up. Shashank has done such a good job towards the end. Just trying to think of whether they've used the resources they had today as well as they could have.
I think they did. It's just that they didn't fire. Obviously, you needed probably Liam to bat those last 2 overs which he missed out. Probably would have done a little bit more damage, but even saying that, he hasn't fired. And the guys who needed to be there, we spoke about that finger spinners generally don't bowl well here. These are the wickets where you don't get much purchase. Keshav Maharaj came in and bowled really well. So they allowed the bowlers to dictate terms, and they were not brave enough, I would say.
Do you look at Jitesh Sharma, who's a very important player from the India lens, as a player who's not quite in the best of form, not quite living up to big season reputation that people have of him, the expectation?
I thought he's started to show signs of it tonight, and you can see why he's very much on the radar of the Indian selectors, because he has that ability at the back end of the innings to hit sixes, which is, it's a rare commodity, and if you've got a keeper that can do that when you've got a top order that India have, it's a nice fit. But I think if you also look at all of the games to this point, the times that he's come out to bat haven't been that easy for him to have a real impact. It's not like he's making these average scores when he's got 10 overs to bat or more. Yeah. So, it's always difficult when you're batting down in that position at 5, 6 and 7. You can get sort of overly criticised without actually really looking at the detail of when your entry points have been.
Product of his environment, the situation that he's come in. Most of the time he's had to kind of right the ship, right? And that's not his role ideally in this side. You want to be coming in off the back of some momentum and carry on that momentum and finish the innings.
Yeah.
I think the top 3 needs to fire. One of them has to fire, and that has not happened. Bairstow, obviously, we spoke about. Even Prab Simran, he's played, he's 2-3 seasons old, and he's got a lot of game time. But if in T20 cricket one of your top 3 doesn't score runs, it puts a lot of pressure on the back end of the innings.
Let's give credit to the Rajasthan bowling. We'll have more discussions on the Punjab batting, whether they could have had a change in personnel, or whether the Sam Curran at 4 is working or not. But we'll save that for the end of the game. Rajasthan's bowling, though, without any one standout bowler, just a good all-round bowling effort, finished by Trent Boult, who we did see. Bowl 4, including one at the death.
Imagine, he can bowl the death over. No, that was good to see. I know it was just Ashutosh was in fine form at the end there, got them to a score. But all in all, I thought they bowled beautifully. Power play, like we said, was tight. They bowled tight and didn't really give too much width, which is the key on a wicket, which looks like a good wicket. I must say Maharaj came in and bowled beautifully. Yes. When you're looking at a finger spinner, you say finger spinners haven't been great on this surface. It's even more important that you get your length right. And I thought he hardly missed a delivery in terms of length tonight. He was going into that middle and leg stump and then using good variation and going a little bit wider every now and again. So I thought it was a very smart spell of bowling.
Yeah, just to add to that, because Keshav Maharaj doesn't have a lot of IPL experience and he's only a replacement player.
Absolutely. He's been bowling well and he knows his craft very, very well. And it was a good game for him to play because there's a slow power play. The batting didn't really, couldn't come out of first gear at any stage, and he just did his thing and made it absolutely impossible for him in picking up a couple of scalps, which put them further down the hole. Now, the other one, Avish, I thought bowled well, except for his last over was a bit costly, but he's again showing that he's recaptured that form that we remember him from 2 years ago when he was at Delhi. Is it 2 years ago?
Yeah, 3 maybe.
So 3 years ago, yeah.
On that point, if they took that catch, then the last couple wouldn't have gone for 6.
Oh,
so.
the
little. It was almost a couple of those.
Samson's been involved in a few in his career. A lot of things are going
specialty.
well.
Must have the quietest voice in the world. Must be quiet. Mine. Must be. Otherwise, how does no one hear him? He's signalling and going for it. It's like
I can't help but think, but if we see that Avesh Khan chance, the first one was taken, even though it was some confusion, by Kuldeep Sen. The second one, with Avesh Khan going for a cotton bowl, he was furious with his captain. But when you look at that replay, it didn't seem like Avesh Khan was right under it either.
Yeah, no, I don't think he would have got a miss on it. I think, but
I think he's quite grateful that there was a distraction to then say that's the reason.
But the standard practice in that situation, if the keeper is within range, he takes the catch.
Yeah.
That is a standard practice.
And also standard practice, if the ball goes up like that as a bowler, you just stand still. And you look around and for the other guys to run and take the catch. So that shouldn't have even been in the vicinity.
That's if you can't catch. Are you saying something? You struggle with the...
you've done the hard
balls.
work. You've created the mistake. Someone else can finish it for you.
How I would have loved for time to go back and for you to have played in a team with Tom Moody as the head coach and try to offer this as part of the senior bowlers and says, if the ball goes up, guys, you have to look around and see who else is going forward. And I would have loved to see Tom's response.
Absolutely, very positive response.
All right. On that note, the one positive for Punjab is Ashutosh Sharma, though. Just what's standing out about his six hitting for you? Seems to be the one bright spot in Punjab.
Well, I think obviously first thing is not many people know about him. There's not much data about him, which helps. The more he plays, obviously people will find out. But I think he's got that strength that he can hit sixes and he backs himself and he knows his area. And if the ball is there, he backs himself. And so far it has been working. He's been lucky, a couple of times. Few missed chances against GT and here as well. But he's making the most of it. So you've got to give credit to him as well.
One of the great strengths when you watch him bat that he's got is that he has the ability to keep the face open through impact, and it's a really unique style, isn't it? Something you see it more and more often, but he doesn't shut the face down. So as long as he gets reasonable contact, he's always going to be able to get that elevation to clear the ropes.
Yeah, it's almost like he slices the ball.
Yeah, he's bottom hand dominant. So his bottom hand on the bat is quite low on the handle, and that opens that face up like what you're talking about, and obviously that's where he gets his power. Yeah. So, he's not sort of playing a Rahul Dravid beautiful top-hand drive down the ground.
The way to bowl to such bottom-hand players would ideally be?
Change of pace is really important for players like that because their swing path is pretty predictable. So change of pace and just, dragging it not too full, getting that length around 6 to 7 metres, making it difficult.
All right.
Yeah, but I think he needs to start probably from here on.
Just on that, I mean, I'm now trying to think this might very well have been plan A or B for Punjab, that we'll not name him in our batting 11, and if there is a collapse, he'll come in because we already have the bowling. But is that the best use of the impact sub in their case? Because there's no one screaming out as a bowler to come in and change things. Rahul Chahar is someone they've anyway done without in this tournament. Vedwat Kaverappa is a highly rated seamer in the domestic circuit, but he doesn't have a lot of IPL experience, and you can't play Nathan Ellis because you've already got your 4 overseas. So would this have anyway been the plan, and they would have looked at Rahul Chahar as surplus, or is there a better way to use your 12 with the impact sub?
Well, I think they're in a bit of a predicament where if they're batting first, who does he come in for? You could argue that the likes of Prab Simram, hasn't got the form. He should be, playing in front of him, but he's not a top order player. You're talking about, a player that's, bats really specialises at 5, 6, 7. So it's really where does he fit into that batting lineup? Shashank is also a number 6.
It's effectively what they are doing anyway. They sub Arshdeep out normally.
Yes.
So this is like if Arshdeep was on the impact options bench and Ashutosh was there, would it really make... Have you already played the same 12 anyway?
I think what it allows them, the flexibility, if they only lose 2 or 3 wickets and they get 180 or 200, it allows them the flexibility to look at an alternative when they're going into the field.
So it's not really, in this particular case, it's not using your resources. It's still using the resources that you have.
I think they're keeping their options open. It's a bit like what Rajasthan have done.
They've still got Liam Livingstone who can roll his arm over. He can bowl leg spin. So if they need, he's the guy they can turn to.
Yeah, I guess the question is you're the top order. So if you want to keep Ashutosh and leave a top order, perhaps Simran on the bench.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Livy can bat at 4. He does it.
So I was going to come to that later, but since we've touched upon it, when you bring Livingston back and his role is sort of at 7, where you have a lot of Indian finishers actually in better form, does it seem like too much of an expectation to have Livingston come back and play that role? And would you not rather, in the absence of Dhawan, rather have an international top order player like Riley Rousseau?
Yeah, that's a good point. The Riley Rousseau discussion would have been a heated argument, but a heated debate around the selection table before this game for Bairstow, I would have thought. But given there was already a number of changes, forced changes, with Shikhar Dhawan and who was the other one that was unavailable?
Well, Raza's gone out and Livingston.
It's sort of, how many moving pieces do we want at the same time? So I think they probably held their nerve for Johnny Bairstow, but I think what we'll probably see is Riley Rousseau come into that because he is ideally suited for that 3 or 4 position.
Very quickly, anything in the surface that suggests that Punjab with the bowling they have can still make this challenging for the Royals?
Well, I think if the new ball does something and they've got, their batting order shuffled a little bit.
Here we go.
Anything.
Tanush Kotian is opening the batting. Wow.
So if they are in the power play 2 or 3 down, it could get interesting, but still it's Rajasthan.
Let's get a reaction on that though. I mean, I know Tanush Kotian and I followed his first class season closely and he's obviously a capable batter in the middle order. Has he opened or have you seen him at the top in any white ball cricket?
No, I have not, and I'm really surprised.
Well, maybe he's being used, purely as a pinch hitter, like a Sunil Narayan type role. Just go out there and express yourself, have a bit of fun, see if you can take advantage of these power play overs. There's no expectation, and look for the boundaries in those first 6.
Well, let's hope.
Is it one of those that keeps the rest of the batting also at ease with their roles? Yeah,
it also potentially does that. It saves you having to continue to shuffle. Joss Butler is obviously going to only be out for a game, so you don't want to move too many pieces around.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm going to quickly just go to that team and see if there were any specialist Indian batters that could have made a case for that. Like Shubham Dubey is a batter, so I wonder if they could have they would have just thought, let's just have a specialist batter playing, but we'll find out. Let's come back to this at the end of the game, because these are Rajasthan Royals things. They just work, and sometimes they don't, and they at least give us lots of talking points. So let's get a prediction, Rajasthan to do this easy, or are we seeing something tricky for them here? Wasim?
4 down to chase Rajasthan.
Easily?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mitch?
I think they're going to chase in 14 overs.
14 overs, an absolute hammering then. Tom?
I think it's going to be 7 down.
So they'll not have it as easy.
Yeah, I just think Ashdeep and Rabada will be quite formidable with the new ball.
Okay.
So, yeah, 7 down, but Rajasthan win.
All right. Well, I've said super over, so I'm going to stick with it. It's going to happen today. Low-scoring thriller is brewing in Mullanpur. Thank you to Wasim, Jaffer, Mitch McClenaghan, Tom Moody. Download the mobile app if you haven't already to find out more about Anush Kotian as well. I'm sure that'll have his player profile page will have that covered for you and get you the fastest scores from the IPL and everywhere else. We'll see you at the end of the game on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.